I think our top story, and I don't know how we could start a pro wrestling podcast with any other story this week than what we saw last night on WWE Elimination Chamber. We finally got
What happened?
the CHT,
What happened?
the
I'm
John Cena heel
kidding. I
turn, sir.
know.
I
I
know.
paid attention.
Yeah, we one of the great heel turns of all time. So if you're in the chat, drop us your favorite heel turn of all time. I do want to bring those up. So we're talking heel turns tonight. I'm actually working a list right now. I'll probably get it in writing, put it on Patreon, and then JD and I will do a podcast about it. So drop us your favorite heel turn of all time. It could be John Cena's heel turn last night, or what you think about his heel turn. But I'll be damned. Here's where I would. Everybody wants to know where you were at when you witnessed the John Cena heel turn. It was like that big of a moment in pro wrestling. I was at this new restaurant that we just found out about earlier in the week called D''Lish. Delish. It's in the west side of Oahu. Very not exactly a remote area, but a very difficult area to get to. And so the beach, there's like nobody on. It was Saturday night. We went down there. We took some family photos. We had our friend who's a photographer, our neighbor. And we go down there, and then D''Lish has a live band. They're playing some old folk music. They got some all kinds of stuff. There may have been 30 people at this place. The food is amazing. All this stuff, beautiful outside. Of course, we're in Hawaii.
What kind of food?
And what's that?
What kind of food they serve?
Bar food. But like if you were to go to a brewery, like what they would serve at a brewery, but the menu is small, and actually they switch up the menu throughout the week, so they don't have the same thing every night. So that's kind of what was unique. We just ended up getting Kahlua pork nachos, and my daughter got a hot dog. So that's kind of what we had. But so anyway, I was down there on the beach, supposed to be enjoying my family, and fucking John Cena turns heel. And I'm like trying to not be on my phone while I'm with the wife and the kids, and we're trying to take family pictures at the same time because it's sunset. Like right at sunset in Hawaii is insane. And this whole John Cena heel turn, I've been wanting this for so long because I was so bored by this fucking guy come the mid 2000s. I was so sick of the babyface character that he had. I was never a big John Cena guy to be honest with you, but I understood why he was their top guy for so long. I wanted him to turn heel, and he turned heel last night. And honestly, it was way better than I would have even probably written it myself, to be honest with you. I thought that it was fucking flawless. What did you think? I know you saw the clip on Twitter.
I was watching wrestling when it happened, but I was watching Collision, actually.
Yeah.
So I saw the clip. I think it was on Facebook. I saw the clip.
Yeah.
And it's pretty masterful, man.
Yeah.
It's easily one. I can't say it's the best because I have to think about it. When we do our thing, we got to go over like the best heel turns. It's the second most ornate heel turn that I've ever seen. The only one more over the top was Hogan NWO. Right. This one was good, especially because like last week on the show, we covered Punk being the quote unquote corporate champion. Right.
Yeah.
So I think they did a pretty good job leaking out some of that stuff. So people got off the trail of Cena. Like, I don't know. I think we have the two most disingenuous fuckers in a WrestleMania main event in a long time between Cena and Cody Rhodes.
Right. Yeah.
But I think it's great. I think Cena's a great heel. If you ever saw, not so much Peacemaker, because Peacemaker, he's kind of a baby face. He's like an anti-hero.
He's an anti-hero, right?
Yeah. But in the Suicide Squad, the movie, not Suicide Squad, that movie sucks. The Suicide Squad, James Gunn, he's a heel, and he's pretty goddamn great.
Right.
Like his first run as the Peacemaker, pretty goddamn great as a heel. And I remember saying it to my wife when we watched the movie. I said, "Look, I told you John Cena could be a great heel," and we're here.
Yeah, we're here. We're finally here. They really did play it perfectly because the way the WWE does their storytelling right now, they typically foreshadow something, and then they deliver on something that they foreshadowed. Right.
That's always, so. To be fair, that's always been their MO. They rarely have out of left field heel turns.
Right. Yeah, they rarely do it, right? And so they had been foreshadowing CM Punk turning heel for a little while, and then they really cranked it up a notch on SmackDown. Now, I didn't watch SmackDown because SmackDown's terrible, but I did watch the CM Punk Cody Rhodes interview. John Muse like made sure that I watched it. And me and him, you know, we were talking about it, and I was like, John, I think that they foreshadowed it too much, and that we might not be getting the corporate Punk champion. Um, and but then we talked about it, and we're like, no, we by the end of the conversation we're both in. No, it's still going to be CM Punk, right? And then CM Punk ends up losing, and because Seth Rollins like did the curb stomp, whatever, and John Cena taps him out. And I was like, wait, are we getting a CHT here? Are we getting the big CHT? Cody Rhodes comes out, and they're both happy-go-lucky, like two just scrappy baby faces. And they just love pro wrestling and want to do the right thing by the fans, want to do the right thing by the company that they love so much, and go to WrestleMania. They're both like a couple of douchebags pointing at the WrestleMania sign. I'm like, okay, this is cheesy. Not this is stupid. And I'm following along on Twitter, right? And I was like, this is cheesy, this is stupid. So unless we get a CHT, I don't really care. So then I kind of like get away from the show at that point. And then all of a sudden my fucking phone starts blowing up. Holy shit. You got to be fucking kidding me. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like one by one, I'm like, oh shit. It like what happened? So I go in and I see the clip. The Rock comes out. I'll be honest. I'm a 42-year-old white guy who has not listened to hip hop actively in probably 20 years. I don't know much about Travis Scott. I got no fucking clue why that guy was there. I just know that he's really famous.
My kids all know.
And so, yeah, the Rock comes out with Travis Scott, and the Rock is got to be the coolest son of a bitch to ever be in pro wrestling. The guy just like oozes aura every time you see him. He's coming out wearing bell bottoms and a shiny vest, and I'm like, that he's the only guy that could actually pull that off. And he walks slowly to the ring to the beat of his music, and he comes out and he tells Cody Rhodes that he wants an answer. He wants him to give him a big hug. Embrace me as a brother, and I'll embrace you as my champion. I want your mind, body, and your soul. And he said, if you don't, then the dream is gonna die again. And I was like, fuck, that's a crazy line. And then Cody Rhodes goes, go fuck yourself, Rock. And they don't bleep it out. And I'm like, oh shit, they did the Edge and Christian thing from AEW. I was like, and I thought they executed that pretty well. Because I don't think they've ever allowed the F word like on purpose in the WWE. So that made it even much better, right? He says, go fuck yourself. Turns around, like John Cena celebrating at this point, turns around, hugs John Cena. Then John Cena gets the heel face. Rock gives him that. And
I think Rock did it. I think Rock overdid it because Rock he kind of came underneath.
Yeah,
he didn't do the Arn Anderson just across the throat.
Yeah, it was pretty over the top. But when you're in a football stadium, or not football stadium, but they're in that huge stadium in Toronto, WWE wrestlers are trained to overemphasize everything so the people at the top of the building can see it, right?
That's true because they could have easily missed it on the 37 gigantic screens showing the feed. You're right. It's very easy to miss.
Yeah. So he does the whole thing. The crowd goes ape shit, and then John Cena kicks him in the balls and then beats the hell out of him. Travis Scott slapped the shit out of Cody.
Did you see that? Cody Rhodes.
Oh my
Cody
God.
Rhodes backstage like, hey brother, what the hell, man?
He's like, who taught you how to throw a working punch, bud? But
Terry Funk.
I know, right? I was just thinking about the story that Mick Foley tells. He's like, I was such a big fan of Terry Funk. I was such an admirer of his, and I always wanted to know how he throws his punches without hurting anybody. And I asked him about it, and he wouldn't really tell me. He said, "We'll just find out when we get in the ring." And then I get in the ring with him, and I find out all he does is just punch you. He's like, "Wait a minute."
You thought I was just that good.
Yeah. He's like, hold on. The secret all these years is that Terry Funk just legitimately punches you. That's the secret to his punches.
It's the greatest ever.
Yeah. That's a great story. But yeah, man, John Cena turned heel, and I honestly I thought that they played it beautifully. They played it perfectly. They might have to knock down the walls of Allegiant Stadium to get more people in there. I think they just sold a ton of tickets.
I agree. I think that's what they needed to do to get WrestleMania really, because again, WrestleMania bill has been a little flat, right? It doesn't seem to be quite as interesting. But now you got this. Like you finally opened Pandora's box after 15 years of people demanding it.
Yeah,
good.
So
about time.
Now the question is now. So the moment was great, and it's hard to rank this as the greatest ever because we don't know what the follow up is like, right? Mm-hmm. I think Cena has to win the title now and do a heel run over the summer. I know this is his last year. Although people on Twitter are just saying that maybe Cena, part of his heel gimmick is that he's not retiring. I don't think that's true. I think he's legitimately retiring, but I mean, it's pro wrestling. Nobody ever truly
Who
retires.
knows? I think you do the evil, the negative Daniel Bryan story or Bryan Danielson AEW story, right?
Yeah.
I think he's got to win too. Cody's had that belt for a year. It's time to do something different,
Yeah.
right? I think the evil John Cena is great. I think you got to go all in with this. I think he's got to ditch the jorts, new song, right? No, nothing like what he was. Do something completely different. Right? It's time. Let's be real, Mike. Let's be completely real. John Cena got to shave his fucking head, man. He ain't fooling nobody.
Or he needs to take a trip to Turkey, I think. And he needs to take me with him because me and him have similar issues with our hair.
He's you are not in denial. Like John Cena
No.
is a multi-millionaire who has a night for the first time in his career has a decent set of hair in the front.
Right.
But there's no party going on in the back. In fact, it's quite sad.
Yeah. Yeah. I sent you the picture earlier of
You sure did.
Somebody had posted it was NW and then the O was just John Cena's bald spot. I thought that was fucking great.
It's fucking epic. Fucking epic.
Yeah, but I know why his hair is a lot longer now, so he can kind of comb over it so it doesn't look so bad whenever he's doing the movies.
Yeah, in the movies they can cover that stuff. And in pro wrestling, not quite as great. Not quite as great. Maybe that's part of the heat though. Is he walks around with this big ass bald spot and he's in denial about it. Actually, now that I think about it, that's actually not a bad idea. Like,
so didn't Hulk Hogan did that when he was doing the NWO? Remember, didn't he wrestle with hair plugs for a little bit?
I forget if it was hair plugs. It was totally like I think it was for the Three Ninjas movie. He just went with it for a little bit. Like he had like it was almost like a spike. Like it was almost like a spike hair plug, and he was in denial. I think Giant or Luger rips it off at one point. I forget who. Yeah, early in the NWO run, he does have like hair plugs. Great.
It was great stuff. And then they were spray painting Randy Savage's bald spot. Like Hogan was making fun of Savage for being bald, and I was like,
being remarkably bald.
Yeah, which is hilarious.